Matt's Garage, and today I'm going to be removing the shifter and related linkage, as well as the pedal assembly and related linkage and cables from this 1987 Nissan Pulsar NX. I've removed the T-tops to start with, shed some light on the situation, and then I won't be bumping my head as I get in and out of there 50 times, so it's a nice feature on these cars. Okay, so if you're working on one of these cars or a car similar, a lot of cars are like this actually. When you remove the center console, they normally have a liner or something similar on the bottom, or a couple plugs over the screws, so you gotta get that out. Then there's this cover, so in this case I was able to get my finger up under the back side to the e-brake hole and remove that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove all those screws now. Okay, now to remove that, you just have to sort of have the e-brake lever down a bit, but not all the way. So you might have to move it around, we'll see here. Up, maybe up all the way. Yeah, up all the way. And there was also a couple screws down here, but they were fully exposed, so you couldn't miss them. So I just left those screws in there, and I'm going to put the two additional screws in the console, because that's a good spot for them. Actually, I'm going to put the cover pieces in there too, and everything's together when I go to put it back together. Or if I do, might just be spare parts. We'll see. So next you can see there's actually nuts, it looks like, on a stud holding these brackets down, and I'm gonna assume that that is what holds the shifter in from the boggin side. I think if I take those off, the shifter will drop out the boggin, so I'm gonna go ahead and give that a try. Okay, so we're under the car, and it looks a little more complicated than I thought. Looks like I gotta take this heat shield off under here, so I'm gonna get my trusty impact gun out and try and do this one-handed for you. I'm trying to do a bit more stuff on camera. It's not always that easy. Especially, I don't always have my son here to record me. So, and it's got one in the middle back there. Oh, exhaust is in my way big time. Well, see if we can have a look what's going on there. Okay, so it looks like there's more nuts and another plate on the bottom here, so we're gonna have to go ahead and get that off too. Okay, well, we got that heat shield off, and I had to use the swivel to get at the fifth bolt there, because it was behind the exhaust, up above the exhaust there, but I got that off. Those were 10mm bolts, and then this shifter plate, it has 12mm bolts, or nuts rather, on the bottom of a stud, and two of the studs started spinning on me, so now I gotta go up top and see if there's anything I can do up there. If not, I'm gonna have to come back under here and cut them off with something, so that'll be fun. Okay, so coming up top here, it's clear what the problem is. The studs that I'm working on the boggin, they're just riveted into these brackets that I was working on earlier up top when I took those 10mm nuts off down here. Those brackets do hold the studs that go through the shifter, and they come down on the bottom side and have a 12mm nut on them. So they're spinning, but they did come loose enough that I can get my needle nose vice grips under there and get a grip on the stud. So now I'm going to go back under the car, and hopefully that'll be enough of a grip to hold it while I buzz it off with the impact. So the vice grip idea worked for the one side here, but as you can probably tell from the shavings, didn't work from the other, and I decided the least evasive technique to use here was just my drill, and there was already kind of a center divot in these anyway, so it was pretty easy drilling, and that got that off without any sparks flying around the interior. So now I'm pretty well done with that. I just got to pull that linkage out, and I'll show you what it looks like out of the car here in a minute, and then we'll get started on removing the clutch and brake pedal assembly. So there we are, that's the linkage out of the car, pretty sturdy looking, and that you can see that would hook up into here, and so yeah, a lot better than probably a lot more long-term reliability built into that than into the newer systems that use cables, and the cables wear out and break over time. These are pretty foolproof, so that's what I like about these old Nissans, very well built little cars. So I'm just out here at my automatic Pulsar, just checking what's different, and it's pretty cool. I don't have to take the brake pedal assembly out at all because it's separate for the clutch. As you can see, there's just a block off plate there. I just got to remove those couple studs on the other one, and the whole assembly comes out. And pretty sure that the console's the same automatic to manual too, but I'm going to double check that yet. Well, I feel a little bit stupid because I went and took that center pivot bolt out of the assembly because I wasn't figuring how to get the clutch cable off, and it turns out it just hooks. All I had to do is push some slack in the cable and get up in there with a screwdriver or something and pull it out of the hook, but I didn't know, so I took a few extra steps here, took it apart, but that's okay. I figured it out, and I'll put it back together once I get it all out of the car. I just got the brackets just sitting up in there. One thing I actually wanted to show you, if I can get that out of there, there's actually another fastener up there, and I was able to get it just by bending the ducting out of the way, but not sure I'd recommend that, as I'm not sure I didn't damage the duct. It's just, it's a parts car, so I'm not too concerned. But if you care about your car, you probably want to see I'm up against the duct again here. You really need to have that duct out to get this bracket back out of there properly, and I may even end up taking it out here yet. I'm going to try and just wrestle it out off camera here just to avoid it, because it's a parts car and I don't care if I bust up the duct. But yeah, I wanted to show you that. You'll have to, it's kind of going to be a pain to get out, but or you may be able to just get it loose in there and spin it or something. But so there we go. That concludes our removal of these manual transmission parts from this 87 Nissan Pulsar NX. As you can see, I got everything out here. I just wanted to show you this because this one kind of stumped me a little bit. This one just simply hooks on there. There's no pin to remove or anything like that. So I actually fiddled with it for quite a while trying to figure out how to get that apart, and it lifts off. So I was a little frustrated when I realized that. Another cool thing I noticed here, since this is a Japanese car, I thought this was kind of cool. Clutch cable is made in Italy. It's kind of neat to see Normally you see things are made in China or something, but